Today we're going to go over the handle installation, a QX HD quick pitch handle. We're going to be installing it onto the HD series trowel. When you first get these out of the box, you just want to take a look and make sure you have all your components, beginning with the instruction manuals that's going to come with every handle assembly. The hardware needed, throttle spring, and the support block. From here, we're going to go ahead and start beginning the installation process onto the trowel. Okay, prior to installing our handle, we wanted to point out a safety concern. On the quick pitch handle, there's a large spring in here. When the handle is received in the box, the control lever is all the way back, so there's no spring tension here. So anytime the handle is brought all the way forward, you can see there's a lot of tension as you move it forward. It extends our cable, but at any portion of the assembly, you'll want to take caution that you don't hit the trip lever and injure somebody. All right, we're going to go ahead and continue the installation by installing our support block. First thing we need to do is we're going to release or remove the two jam nuts. Set them aside. Then notice the length of the cable is at its shortest length, so we're going to move the handle forward to extend the cable all the way out. There will be tension, so pull it up. Make sure it's locked in firmly, and you notice the cable extended outward. Then I'm going to turn the handle over. And here we just had a jig to elevate the handle. You can use a box or anything. Okay, we're going to go ahead and install the support block. Again, this is only used on the HD series handle. If you're not doing the HD series, this will already be installed and your cable will be coming out. To install this, you need to identify the flat side here versus the round side. So to start with, bring our cable out, and our flat side needs to be going down in this position. Bring the cable through the top side and back into the tube, and just guide it in as far as you can, watching into the tube here for the thread awl. You can either use a hook, pliers, or fingers. As you guide this out, now you need to twist it 180 degrees to this position. The flat part now should be up. Okay, now that we have the support block installed, we need to go ahead and mount it using the hardware. You need to take notice of the length of the bolts. One of the bolts is slightly longer with thread all the way up to the head. This is one that you can install at this time in this location. And now you can use these to mount that. Go ahead and tighten these up, then we'll take the handle to the trowel to complete the installation. All right, now we're going to make a move to install our handle. We need to first get our hardware ready. So we'll take our remaining washers and bolt, make sure our nuts are next to the trowel so we have access to them. And you'll just bring it on in, line up your holes. Go ahead and add your additional hardware, get them started. All right, now we're going to attach the pitch cable to the yoke. Before doing that, we need to make sure that we pay special attention and caution to our quick pitch lever. It's under extreme spring tension. If somebody accidentally hits the trigger, it could injure somebody. So just pay attention, make sure the lever is firmly locked in place. Okay, the next step in installing the pitch cable is we need to put our first jam nut back on the pitch cable thread rod. Gonna thread it up quite a ways, at least 1/2 to 3/4. Go ahead and wrap the cable around the yoke area, and then we push the thread into the yoke. Then we take our second jam nut and get it threaded into position. Okay, once you get your second nut, begin to thread it on. At this point, I'm pulling up all the slack that I can with the inside jam nut. I'm going to check my tension here, see if I can get any more slack. We're looking for this tension here, about a 1/2 inch deflection, 1/4 inch deflection. Here I have some more thread I can take up, pull it in, and right now I've got it about all the way I can by hand. And then I'm going to bring my outer jam nut to lock this into position. Double check my adjustment, I'm good there. I'll take a couple 1/2 inch wrenches and tighten the two jam nuts together. Next, we can make our electrical connection for our safety shut-off switch here. We'll go ahead and bullet connect in the provided harness, and we'll split the loom a little bit. We'll get our wrench, and we're putting the eyelet into the engine blower housing cover bolt there. 10mm wrench or ratchet. All right, next we're going to prepare to install the throttle control cable. First, we'll remove the air cleaner cover and the air cleaner assembly. All right, we're going to go ahead and continue with the installation of our throttle cable. First, we want to get a few tools prepared. Phillips screwdriver, needle nose pliers will work, and we also have our remaining part that came with the installation instructions is our throttle return spring. First thing we want to do is prepare our cable, make sure it's fully extended. So we're going to go up to the throttle control lever and just make sure it is in all the way down in this idle position. That gives us the maximum length of our cable. All right, first we want to identify a few parts here. First, our lever here, we want to make sure this is free movement. It should not be restricted at all. If it's tight, you'll need to loosen this friction nut here, so it should be free moving so the throttle lever can make the control. This is going to be our cable housing clamp right up in here, and this is our swivel stop that will lock in our inner cable. So first thing we want to do is get our screwdriver. So we want to loosen up our swivel stop Allen head bolt. And then we want to loosen up our housing clamp. You may need to remove it. At this time, I'll just remove it. So at this time, we'll place our housing underneath the clamp. I'll get our clamp started. Now we're going to go ahead and put our throttle return spring back through. It's very important that this spring is installed because it allows positive return of the throttle control back to an idle or safe position, so the clutch disengages. We're going to compress the spring and then guide the cable into the swivel stop. From here you can see the cable come through the swivel stop. You're going to put it through about 3/16 of or 1/4 of an inch. And then go ahead and clamp down your Phillips screwdriver to tighten the stop. Fully tighten the stop, and then fully tighten the housing clamp. So now to test the throw of the cable. Okay, to check our cable adjustment, we're going to come up to your throttle lever and go from low speed all the way to high. And then you'll want to watch where the throttle high-speed screw stops against the throttle control lever. So we'll drive it all the way up. Make sure at full stroke it's contacting the lever. That indicates we have it properly adjusted and it'll reach maximum engine RPM. With our throttle cable installed, we'll go ahead and reinstall our air cleaner assembly. Pay special attention to make sure the sealing O-ring is still in place. Now that we have the air cleaner installed, we're going to make sure our throttle controls back to idle. We'll check the engine oil, then we'll be able to start the unit and make a final operational check of our throttle control. Alright, our last setting on our quick pitch handle is to adjust our preload on our spring. So there are two positions depending on what model trowel you have, B and J series. For the H units, we're going to bring this indicator all the way up to the B combo adjustment. We're going to use a 3/4 inch ratchet. And you'll watch the indicator move all the way up. Once we've adjusted the indicator all the way up to the B combo, we've gone ahead and we've completed our adjustment. We can come back to our pitch handle assembly. Go ahead and give it a pitch. The adjustment of that allows for an easier pitch by spring assist within the inside of the main tube. All right, we're going to go ahead and test our safety switch here. We're going to start the trowel, put fuel in it, check the oil. Once the trowel starts, if you take your centrifugal safety switch and bring it back to the contacts, that'll verify the engine should shut down, and that verifies our safety shutdown. Start the trowel. I'm going to make sure we're in the idle position. Turn on our Honda engine switch. Fuel valve to the right. I'm going to choke it to the left. Always maintain one hand on the trowel. Then we're going to give it a pull. I'm going to check our safety switch. Safety switch shut down the engine, confirming our electrical connections.